For guys, now as we're reviewing, this is a movie that I wanted to see for a while now. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it, but finally I rented it on Amazon and finally got a chance to watch it, and that movie is none other than Cafe Society. This is a movie that I was definitely interested in because of the cast, but I was worried about because it is Woody Allen, and nowadays he's very hit or miss, especially after Crisis and Six Scenes. I'm much more tentative when it comes to Woody Allen stuff, but I was definitely interested in seeing how this was going to be, and I have to say, after watching Cafe Society, I actually really enjoyed this movie for the most part. I think that, yes, it does have a lot of the same Woody Allen tropes in there, but it did a good job of finding a way to stand on its own and be something different, and I definitely really did enjoy this one. But let's get to the plot of Cafe Society, which the plot of this movie is nothing too crazy. Basically, we focus on our main character, Bobby Dorfman. He is the youngest son of this Jewish family in New York City in the 1930s, and his brother, Ben, is this very hardcore gangster that runs this nightclub and wants Bobby to take over, but he doesn't really want any part of that. He wants to go to LA and start to be essentially like an assistant for his uncle, who's like a talent agent, and he starts to fall in love with this girl, Vonnie, and they start to get very close. But little does he know that Vonnie's supposed boyfriend that she's saying she's dating is actually none other than his uncle, and basically that's the plot we have going on here. But let's get more into this movie, starting off with what I really want to talk about, which is the cast. Now they did get me interested in this movie. The cast here looked really good. I think for the most part they all looked like they were giving really good performances, and that is definitely the case. I really did like all the actors in this movie. Jesse Eisenberg's character, Bobby Dorfman, I actually really did like for the most part. This is someone who, like I said, really does not want his family to dictate to him what to do. He wants to, move to LA. He wants to start his own life, and I really did like about his character. You really are rooting for him. He's not someone that's hard to root for, and I thought overall he did a really good job as basically kind of being the observer, but also in the beginning he's kind of like the observer, but then in the second half being more of his own person, seeing what he goes into. They go in some very unexpected directions with this character that I really wasn't expecting. I think for the most part he was definitely really good here. I really did like his character overall. And then Kristen Stewart as Vonnie. This is the third movie that Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart have working together, so we know they have really good chemistry by now, and I think once again they had really good chemistry in this movie. I love Adventureland, I really liked American Ultra, and I really like their chemistry here, and I hope they keep making movies because they work really well together. And the character of Vonnie, I think, really services Kristen Stewart very well. I'm happy to see she's continuing to do really good roles. You guys know I've been waiting for that Kristen Stewart Oscar-type role. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I think she definitely is a very underrated actor as of right now. Definitely, she's become very good, and the character of Vonnie, I really did like her character, how different she is from other women in, LA and things like that. There's a much different things that she wants, then I thought that was definitely very interesting to see, the contrast between her and other women, and I think their chemistry really was spot on in this movie. They worked for the most part very well together, and I think that's something that really does anchor this film very well. You're very much rooting for this couple, even though you know that it's not really going to work out because of circumstances. I thought for the most part they used them very well, and I definitely really like what they did with their chemistry overall. And then Steve Carell as Phil, I really did like his character. This is someone who could have come across as a dick or someone that we just didn't really like, but they did a really good job of showing why he really liked Vonnie. It's not that he wants to have an affair, it's that he likes everything that she stands for. He likes values. He doesn't just see women as sex objects, and I really did like that about his character. I thought they did a really good job at making his character just as rootable as Bobby was, because you're kind of rooting for both of them. Even though you want Vonnie to be with Bobby, you understand why she has such an attraction to Phil and why these two have the relationship that they do have. I like that. I also liked the talent scout type of, part of him, where he's trying to find different actors and actresses. I thought that was definitely very interesting as well. And there's some really good scenes between him and Jesse Eisenberg. You can tell these two really do look out for each other, and I definitely really did like that. And at the end, when they do find out, once they eventually do find out that who they love is the same girl, doesn't it all go in the direction I thought it was going to, and I was very happy about that. And for the most part, I thought Steve Carell did a really good job here. I really did like his performance, and he definitely was really good. Blake Lively comes in later into the movie as Veronica. I'm not going to spoil what her character is or what she does, but for the most part, I will definitely say that she was very good. I really did like her. Corey Stoll in this movie as Ben Dorfman, Bobby's brother, is a pretty crazy role. I mean, this is someone who is pretty much a merciless gangster. Like, he will not let you, he will just do whatever he wants with you, and he really is just no limit kind of guy, and I thought overall his character was definitely very interesting to watch. I really did enjoy him. And then Janine Berlin and Ken Stott are the last two people I want to talk about. I really love these two together. I thought they both were very funny. These are Bobby and Ben's parents, and they constantly are bickering throughout the film. Their banter was pretty hilarious to watch, and definitely some of my favorite part of the movie. I really thought that they were quite funny, and I think for the most part, this cast worked really well, and that's the reason why I think this movie turned out as good as it did. So the directing here by Woody Allen, I thought for the most part worked really well. Yes, like I said, it does have your same Woody Allen tropes. A lot of people say it's hard for him to make an original film because they're all very much the same, but something about this one really stood out. I thought the tone here was very well done. It was a very fun movie at points, but then it did have its dramatic moments, and I thought for the most part the tone worked really well. I was into it the whole time. There wasn't really a scene that I didn't like, and I thought for the most part the directing was really good here, and the writing as well was definitely something that impressed me. A lot of people are saying this movie is just about endorsing adultery, which it definitely is in there, but I think the movie's more about how we all have goals that we want to achieve that just can't really happen, and like the struggles that we have, and I think that's something that this movie really did very well. I think it was very interesting with the way the writing was done there, and I definitely really did like the story. Like, I thought the story overall was very interesting. I definitely really did like that, and I definitely did feel like I was in the 1930s. I will say I don't think they did a ton with the 1930s. Like, definitely the music and things like that worked really well, but I maybe would have wanted to hear, like, a little bit more, because it was the Great Depression, and they don't really talk about that a ton. They just kind of talk about how, things like, gangsters and things like that, but they don't really talk about the Great Depression. I kind of wanted that to happen, but I did like that we did have, him being from a Jewish family and us learning more about his family, because, yeah, every character in Woody Allen's movies pretty much are Jewish, but it actually worked really well here. I liked the way they did that here. I thought that they actually went some very unexpected directions, especially the way the turn the movie takes in the third act. There definitely is a significant switch in the third act, and I think it actually worked really well. I was very surprised with the direction that it went, but I actually really did like the way the third act turned out. And there's some really big shockers, definitely. Definitely in the end of the movie, certain things happen that I really did not expect to happen the way they did. And I actually really did like the way the writing was done there, and he did a good job of, I think, flipping his hat, definitely. A lot of people say that Woody Allen is afraid to do something different, but I think he actually did do something different here, and I definitely really did appreciate that. My main problem with this movie is that I found a lot of it to be very repetitive and at points very predictable. The direction that the movie takes in the third act of the movie, after that certain twist, I pretty much saw everything coming after that. Like, the way things are going to go, I'm not going to lie, I found it to be very predictable. There was one thing that I didn't expect. If you guys are wondering, I'll let you know. But other than, one very shocking twist, I really didn't find a ton of very shocking stuff here, which is fine. It's just I would have wanted something a little bit different in the direction that it went, and I think that some of it did get a little bit too predictable, and that was definitely one of my problems when it came to the writing. And not every joke hit, I definitely will say it. There are a lot of jokes in this movie that definitely went over my head, and Woody Allen tends to do that a lot. I think it's just a sign of him getting older, and the fact that his jokes, the older he gets, the more dated his jokes are going to become, and I like that some of them I think worked really well here, and some of them really didn't work at all. Now, it wasn't like Crisis in Six Scenes where there wasn't really anything that made me laugh, because there were in fact scenes that made me laugh very well, but then you'd have, Corey Stoll or Steve Carell talking about something, and I really had no idea what they were talking about or what the punchline was supposed to be, and that really didn't work for me. Woody Allen also narrates this movie, and I don't really get what the point of that was. They never really talked about why he was narrating it. He didn't really seem that interested. A lot of times it did sound like he was reading off a script, and I really don't think that the narration was really necessary, but other than that, I thought it was okay. The cinematography, I thought, was fine. Definitely, I really didn't have any problems with cinematography. Nothing amazing, but it definitely was very glossy. In the first half, it was kind of dark, but definitely in the second half, once Jesse Eisenberg arrived, I thought the cinematography was really well done. I definitely really did enjoy the cinematography. It's a very glossy movie to look at, and I really did like that. The editing I thought was fine. I never really felt the movie was rushed. I think it was the perfect length. Most of Woody Allen's movies are 90-something minutes, and this one really did fly by. I was into it most of the time, and that's something that I definitely will say when it comes to it. For the most part, I really did enjoy it, and that's something I definitely will give Woody Allen, is that I think he definitely did do something different here, and I think for the most part it worked really well. So overall, guys, I really did enjoy Cafe Society. It's nothing amazing. It's nothing that I think you need to see right now, but it's a really great movie. It's a fun watch, definitely, and it's definitely something that I can say that I definitely had a great time with. It's good to see Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart continue to do movies together. I think these two work very well together. They service each other well, and it's good to see that Woody Allen is trying to change up some stuff a little bit, which I think he definitely did. There wasn't enough of change, but I think he did do enough in this movie that I enjoyed, and at the end of the day, I am going to give Cafe Society a 4 out of 5 or a B+. But anyways, guys, remember to Cafe Society. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie overall. Love to your thoughts on it. And we'll see you guys in my next video, which, guys, I have 2 episodes of The Exorcist to catch up on. I know I am behind, and I will see you guys for that, because The Exorcist does come back this Friday, and I want to be able to review it, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.